Welcome to another episode of the Building Savages podcast. Have the one and only Coach EP in the building next to me.
Oh, yo. What's up, guys?
All
Happy
right,
morning.
before we
We're
get
here in the morning.
we're changing up the time today, man. We're recording in the morning. Evan got his coffee with him. It's a really cool
Look,
mug,
look,
dude.
look, it's the Hulk right now. It's the Hulk. Yeah, love it.
And before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, set your notifications. You can listen to us on YouTube. If you're watching this right now, then that means you're listening to us on YouTube. But we're also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and some other stuff out there that we don't know the name of, but we just get it in our
We
marketing.
we,
So
we on there though. We on
we
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 on
are
something.
here,
Like look, just search Building Savages and we're on there.
and we're getting close to the end of the year, guys. And we've
Yeah.
been at this thing for a little over 6 months now. So it's awesome seeing it grow. We appreciate all the support that's been here through the journey, and we'll be bringing a end of the year wrap up to you guys pretty soon. So that'll be fun just to kind of reflect on the whole year that we've had, setting us up for 2024.
Yes, sir. Damn, man. This year, I think we say it every year, and it's actually really annoying. But like, this year flew the fuck by.
It gets faster as you get older, dude.
I think so too. Yeah,
That's a real thing.
yeah, it is. Yeah, things will fly fast. I think you just get busier with life and shit like that. But I mean,
Yep,
it's a good problem to have, I guess. But it also makes you realize like how important it is to like make sure like your time use your time effectively and you like enjoy life.
for sure.
It flies.
I was just having that conversation the other day.
Yeah.
Like I'm not working just to be working more.
Oh my God, on God. On God. Yeah. Next year's vacation time. I'm already planning. We talked about before. I'm already planning a whole bunch of trips next year. Mexico,
Okay.
Colombia, going to PR. Probably going back to Jersey to see some fam.
Oh wow, that's about four that you
Yeah,
named right
right.
there.
You told
Oh
me you told me one a
yeah.
quarter. You told me one a quarter. I take your advice,
Ooh.
bro. I got one a quarter. And
Oh
I'm going to
yeah.
in January I got a bachelor party trip in Colorado. So like zooted is the word I'm gonna be.
Oh, nah,
The kids don't
2024
use
Evans outside.
yeah, I'm outside. The word zooted, the kids use zooted anymore. But I was gonna be red the whole time skiing and stuff like that, and then busting on my face again. Jesus Christ. Crying while I'm skiing and then come back up. Yeah, bro, it's gonna be a good time. But yeah, I have a lot of trips.
The Building Savages podcast does not condone being zooted and skiing. I just want to, want to
Don't
put
do
that
that
out
to
there
see
right
that. Oh
now.
yeah. Bro, don't do it. Don't do what I do.
Don't do what Evan does.
Don't do
That
what I
sounds
do.
very dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds super dangerous. I'm gonna come back with a broken leg in 2024. It's gonna be
Oh
me having
man.
ACL reconstruction surgery. Yeah, I'm good.
Zooted and skiing.
Doing it skiing. You high on a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh, it's good to start off with some laughs because today is all about laughs. We're gonna have a nice lighthearted episode. Somehow this might turn deep because I just know how we can go, but
How
I'm
we
gonna
do
try to
it.
keep this lighthearted the whole time.
Somebody's gonna get made fun of. We're gonna crack some jokes, so don't worry, guys. But yeah, you know how he is. We gotta give you guys advice and give you some knowledge. And the only way to do that is be a little boring, but
Just a little bit.
yeah, just a little bit. But we gotta go ahead and do the thing.
So I was talking to Evan. I was like, we should do a fun episode, just kind of discussing some of the worst fitness advice that we've heard in our journey.
Mhm.
That whether this is directly or indirectly to us, to share some of the things that we've heard, which is probably common information that's out there for a lot of people. So we're here to shit on stuff today. That's really what we're
Yeah,
here to
my
do.
favorite. My favorite. I love shitting my shit.
All right. So I have real funny advice. This was when I was at my old gym. I love this guy. I wanna think my podcast is big enough that he could possibly hear this, so I'm gonna leave this nameless. So
Good call. That's a good call.
we were um we were doing squats, and in the powerlifting world, like a lot of people are just very low bar, very like super wide stance with squatting. But his advice was pretty much telling us like you don't want to use your quads when you squat because then you're gonna make yourself weaker. And as I'm listening to this, I'm like,
What?
then like almost the sole purpose of squatting is to use your quads.
Yeah,
Like,
as far as I know, that's what I was taught.
dude, I was like so puzzled by this. I was younger in the game, like listening to it. I knew it was completely wrong because I've been squatting my
Yeah,
whole life. But I was just like looking at like the group of people that would be there and how they would do shit, and I was like, well, it makes sense why a lot of these squats look the way that they do. And they
Yeah.
were like extra wide stands, extra like low bar, and just squatting to the box. It was just like a bunch of unnecessary stuff to just go down and squat, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Use your fucking legs, dude.
yeah, they went straight to West Side and they only took like parts of West Side stuff.
Yeah, and that's exactly the model that he followed a lot was West Side, but it
Yeah.
was guys, use your quads to squat. It's perfectly normal. It's
Yes.
perfectly fine. It's
Yes.
it's a part of squatting. Your legs are going to flex, your knees are going to flex, and your knees are going to extend. And that is impossible to do without your quads.
Yeah, it's a full body movement because you have to use your full body. Like I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
how is the thought process behind that like to not use your quads to like reinforce like glue engagement? Is that where he like kind of like was like maybe like he
I,
used the wrong words to actually describe it?
I guess, but their squats were very much like they were
Hingy.
so leap forward, bro, that it was damn near like a good morning.
Oh Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it
but
was
like
damn
not
near.
even butt down. Like they were just like it was yeah, they were just hinging.
It was
Like
like the extreme hinge with like with like the glutes push back extremely far.
yeah,
That's the one thing I kind of regret. I don't regret too much in my journey, but I really do wish that like I didn't go through that super sumo stance like squatting phase.
yeah,
I feel like I really fucked myself up with that for so many years following because like to get lower, my body would just like get wider, 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 turn your toes out more, and it's just like I'm not utilizing my knees and I'm not utilizing my ankles the way that I should be.
yeah.
So I was just making up other ways to get down in my squat, opposed to just mobilizing the areas to help me get down in my squat.
Yeah, yeah, just like shortchanging yourself by not being able, not focusing on the mobility that you need to get down there. I think another good one is of course staying on the squat topic is like, again, I don't have like personal like bad advice. I can remember little bits and pieces. I don't have a horrible memory. I don't have Terrence memory. But I mean, knees over toes like is a bad thing, and I know like nowadays everybody's like a big is knees over toes guy has like reinvented squatting, but like it was never a problem to begin with.
Never a problem.
Never a problem. Like knees over toes is totally fine, especially like if your levers are like supposed to do that, or if you're longer, you're supposed like sitting back is a good cue. But for a lot of people, like it just doesn't work. So you have to figure out their levers and actually do it right. And squatting isn't bad for your knees. Let's get that shit like out of the fucking way right now. Squatting is not bad for your knees. No.
I was actually introduced to squatting. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. I was introduced to squatting that your knees should never go over your toes.
Yeah, that's how I was
I
introduced
was
to.
I was actually I was like under that mindset for the first couple years of my lifting journey.
Yeah,
And this is another like the more I like harken back to shit going on in my like it just leads to why my ankles are so terrible today.
fair enough. Yeah,
Like I was literally like as if my knee was gonna track over my toes, I would like force them to go back, and I would like push myself back more, and I would allow myself to fall over more, just like little shit like that. And as I got older, and I just like understood that it's not about if your knee goes over your toes or not. If you have a narrow stance and you have really mobile ankles, it's damn near gonna be impossible for your knees not to go over your toes.
exactly.
Really a matter of like your the contact of your foot to the floor and what your hips are doing.
Hmm.
And there's some people who still believe that today. Like, oh no, my knees can't go over my toes. So like they'll do things like turn their toes out when they might not need to. Or they'll
Yeah.
just sit back a little bit more when they might not need to. It's like you can just drop, dude. You'll be
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
exactly. Yeah, if you have the ankle mobility, just fucking do it.
Just
Just
drop.
I think a cute like not a cue, but a lesson like everybody needs to squat the same was like a big thing. Like everybody needs to squat exactly the same. But once you understand, like, I mean, through experience, like the type of mobility you have, the type of leverages that you have, and all that stuff, like you're gonna squat differently. I like
Yeah.
to squat shoulder width apart, but like sometimes like I can if I damn near can put my feet together and squat full depth because I
Oh,
just
that's
have
amazing, dude.
I can
I don't have that
fucking do it.
ability
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. So I can squat, but like, do I want to? No, because I don't feel powerful there. But like, that's the thing. It's just like everybody needs to squat exactly the same. It's not like a fucking thing that works anymore. And I think as we're talking about this, you'll find like these are old style stuff, but like some people still believe this shit. which doesn't like compute in my head. But yeah, the squatting thing is like that right there. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's say knees over toes, hips down. I mean, squatting ass to grass like was probably like the thing that helped me out the most, understanding that how important mobility was. Because like if I so here's the thing, squatting ass to grass isn't necessary. Let's get that out the way. Squatting ass to grass isn't necessary for anything. Getting your hips parallel or below is good,
Yeah.
good thing. But um, squatting ass to grass in the beginning and only doing that way helped me understand the importance of mobility in my ankles, in my hips. Because if I didn't do that or get ass to grass, like I wouldn't be able to do the movements that I could today. So I'd rather have started ass to grass and understand the basics of getting at least parallel or below parallel than starting too high and then
Yeah.
trying to get too low.
That's harder to do.
That's harder to do. So like now that I have the mobility, I can do whatever the fuck I want with my hips and whatever. But at least I understand like where my power is and stuff like that. Um,
I do think squatting ass to grass, having the body weight ability is important though.
super important.
Like
Having
when
the
you start
body,
talking about load, I think the conversation changes. But being able to do that without weight and just like comfortably, I think that's a good thing.
yeah, that's a good point. I think people need to understand. I mean, you should be able to do it. Like it's like a natural thing to do. That's a movement
Yeah.
that is basic for everybody. And again, a lot of people don't have the ability to do that because you just lose it because you don't use it. I think another squat. I think after this we're done with squat. And we're gonna move on. But another squat thing that I kind of is not bad advice, but it's kind of like lost its value, but needs to kind of like be worked on is butt winking. Butt winking
Mm,
being a not like a negative or positive thing. Like it is an issue that needs to be solved. Um, but a lot of people don't think that it's a glute weakness when necessarily it's actually like a mobility issue.
yeah.
So like it's like a lot of times like if your butt wink, it's because like your low back is trying to find mobility from somewhere else, which is usually like your ankles. So a lot of
Yep.
times what you can do is like elevate your heels or work on your ankle mobility, and sometimes your butt wink goes away. But it's finding mobility in different spots. So don't think that your butt wink on the ground isn't necessarily an issue because some people are strong when they butt wink, even though like it doesn't make any anatomical sense. But they're just good there. Just know that it's not coming from weakness; it's coming from mobility issues or mobility weakness, or if anything. It's just searching for mobility for your low back.
Yeah, what
That's what
other good ones do we have?
I'd say.
Um, yeah, I just had one in my head. Oh, there was a guy at my old gym. He used to max out on rear delts.
Max out on rear. The fuck? Max out on rear delts. What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
It's exactly how it sounds, bro. I thought that was the
So, like,
funniest shit in the world.
we'll just like be like one rep, be like, I'm
Yeah.
done. Oh, that's it. For what?
I promise you. I never
That
seen
sounds
this
like,
again in my life, but
oh my God, that sounds like a rotator cuff tear, like waiting to fucking happen.
yeah, we walked in the gym, me and my cousin, the one that was on here, the one that we invited on the podcast one time. We walked in the gym one day, he was like, "Yeah, man, just did just max out on rear delts today." It's like, you
My
did
God,
what?
what the fuck does that even mean? Oh my God.
The reason why this is so funny, guys, rear delts is literally a very small muscle that sits behind your shoulder. It's the rear part of your shoulders. Anything that's isolation work should never be maxed out.
No,
Save that for the
hell,
compounds.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
He went, yeah, he would use the machine like how people use the pull apart machine or the reverse
yeah.
fly, and he would max out on that.
Oh my God, like backwards, like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what
Yep.
fucking, that's crazy.
Wrapped up in elbow wraps and like wrist sleeves and shit like that. Like he's
Oh,
like really going hard to it too.
oh my God, bro. That would be so fucking funny to watch. It's always funny going back to like the old gyms and finding like shit like that, like little bits and pieces. I think that's also why like I don't have like a lot of advice because like it's been a while since I've been at commercial gyms, but like it's
Same,
always fun like watching the old man like wear a belt the whole fucking time or
same. Yep.
like fucking swinging the weights because like technique doesn't matter and shit like that, and they just come up with like their own fucking bro science. And I guess like this is also all bro science if anything, right?
I never heard this in the bro science book
I've
though,
never,
but
yeah,
this is
well, I
something
know it's
that
wrong. It's wrong in
this
modern
is
science. I didn't say it was
this
right,
might be like the bro encyclopedia, some shit like that. This is deep. I never heard that shit before.
I've never heard that shit in my life. Yeah, that's dumb.
He was always beat up too.
Yeah,
His body
100%.
was
Yeah,
destroyed.
yeah.
That. Now that I think about it, like I haven't been at a regular gym in a long time because I've been working at like boutique places for a while. But at Apollon, man, I used to see some shit, bro. Like
Oh, no
I
doubt
used
it.
to see some shit, and it was so normal to me because I was there all the time. And then you leave, and then you realize, like, wait, this shouldn't be
Holy shit.
normal. Like,
What
like
was one of the dumbest things you ever seen at Apollon?
outside of the rear delts. But people used to put on knee wraps for like one plate on the leg press.
Yeah,
That was like a really big thing, dude.
yeah.
And I was
That's
and like as I got older, I just realized like if I have to do all of that to rep out a plate on a leg press, bro, like it's not worth. I just got to go back to learning how to squat again. That shit is
100%. Yeah,
honestly
you're going backwards. You're going backwards. I think that's also a thing. Not advice, but like you shouldn't need that much support to do something that should naturally be occurring. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're, I think the thing is like, fight through the pain. Something you like, you feel pain. There's always something else you should be fucking doing, or
for
something
sure, for sure.
like if
One
you,
plate on the leg press is not enough that you should be wearing knee wraps, man. I'm sorry.
nope,
It's
nope,
just not. That's what
it's
I
not.
saw a lot over there. Now that we're talking about it, is like the the use of lifting equipment as like a
Yes,
crutch.
yes, yeah,
It took me years to like really understand that part. Like my start in fitness was very different because I kind of like started right in a hardcore place with hardcore bodybuilders and hardcore powerlifters. So it helped me see some things early on, but there was definitely some things I had to unlearn over time. To
yeah,
where like things that might have been regular, it's like this really shouldn't be that regular. Like today, I actually don't even really lift with equipment,
yeah,
like wrist wraps, elbows, and stuff like that. And it's not that I'm against it. It's just that for I'm not looking to be like overall lift as much weight as possible with whatever equipment possible. Like I'm not in that stage right now. For me, it's just I care about how strong I can get, pretty much just where my body is. And
fair
if
enough.
I really, really want to put something heavy on, which hasn't been in the last like year, but I'll throw a belt on,
Yeah, that's the
But
furthest. Yeah, that's the furthest I'll get.
that's as far as I get. When I was doing strongman training with Chino, like I would throw a wrist wrap on when we were doing like the circus dumbbells. Like that type of stuff is just extremely heavy to the body. So, I
Mm,
was being more like, I guess I was using a little more protective equipment with that. But like where I'm at today, I don't need to put on the
yeah.
elbow wraps and like wrap myself up like a mummy to lift. Like that shit is just a little
I
crazy
think
to
I
me.
think I think the word right there, like that you said, that's really intriguing or really like important to understand is they're protective. They're not
Yes.
necessary. People will do this stuff and think it's necessary. So like, I mean, a weight belt at a certain limit, if like if you have low back issues or whatever like that might be necessary. Wrist stuff, if you broke your elbow, that might be necessary. But like if you're lifting like sub max. Like I usually say, I usually tell people, and you should put a belt on or put wrist wraps whenever you think you feel comfortable. But like around 75% is like when you think you might need preventative stuff because you never know what can happen around 70, 80% of whatever, one rep max. Like if you do dumbbell bench, barbell bench, or like deadlifts and shit like that, or whatever. You know what I mean? But like you should be testing where your body's at without having to deal with the equipment. Because like what's gonna happen when you go outside and you're lifting boxes? Are you gonna wrap your wrist and put
Yeah.
on the weight belt to like lift up a box every single time because you're so fucking scared of lifting that up? You know what I mean? Like you're training for life, and like as far as I know, I'm not carrying wrist wraps everywhere where I go or carrying a belt wherever. Hold on. Chalk, belt. Okay, let me pick up these groceries real
Yeah.
quick. Like and just like set up perfectly. It's not gonna happen that fucking way.
Yeah, so that's actually why I kind of like. I really don't have most of my clients lift with a belt, honestly, because none of them have like. All of them just kind of want to be like worldly strong and like
Yeah,
worldly in shape. So I try. Like the people that really, really want to lift heavy, I have them do a belt, which is very small for my population today, because a lot of what we do is just like what we can kind of handle with our body in its natural state.
Yeah.
But what I do recommend for people who do like to lift with like supportive gear, know the difference of your 1 rep max without gear, and know the difference with your 1 rep max with gear, and
Two
figure
different.
out what you're trying to train for at the moment. So for like for me, like if I have it thrown on a belt, I don't throw on a belt. So I know what I'm gonna lift with a belt is going to be X amount of pounds higher than I can do without a belt.
Yeah.
So for me, even though I might be pushing heavy without a belt, it's still not the heaviest I can put my body through because I'm not using supportive gear.
Yeah.
And I almost forget like how helpful supportive gear can be. Not to say like it's this crazy thing that changes everything different from what you're doing, but it does aid you even sometimes in just the confidence and having that feeling of more support to allow
Mhm.
you to push more weight. It's like, yeah, this shit can be remarkably different,
Yeah.
so with a lot of the bigger lifters, like you really should clarify, it's okay, am I trying to lift as much as I can lift? Maybe I want to throw on the wrist wraps and the elbow sleeves or the belt, the wrist knee sleeves, whatever. If I'm just trying to be like bodily strong, then you really don't want to utilize any of that stuff. Like or Evan said, unless maybe you have something that's like a little bothersome for you, so maybe throwing a wrist wrap on, or just to kind of get you through what's
Yeah.
happening. I have some people wear knee braces where some people
Yeah.
had like some dislocations in the knees or whatever. So just to give a little more support for some of these movements that we're doing, like yeah, go through with it. But for the
Yeah.
most part, yeah, I actually have my people go more like equipment, like less, like no equipment, bare.
Bear. Yeah, I think bear is the right way to go, and it also helps prevent the injuries and like all this like the need for supportive gear. Because like I was using a lot of supportive gear like wrist wraps and like elbow stuff, knee stuff when I was powerlifting too. And I guess it's also because like you're training like at a super max like level consistently. So like things are gonna be more in like nicks and ticks and stuff like that. But like
And
the
that's what the field does. So you
and
just
that's
kind of do what the
exactly
field
you
does.
just kind of do it exactly. So, um, as I've gotten older and as I gotten stronger, I've had to I can use less of it. Like I only I've broken both of my wrists before, so
Mm.
like now like my fucking I used to own wrist wraps and have to wear it every time I bench. I don't have to do it anymore. Like I bench heavier than I've did like before. Like I was doing powerlifting. So like it just helps. It just builds the builds the density in your bones and it actually helps you get a little stronger throughout that. I think going sideways for a belt for laterally in this one is a deadlifts or for your low back. Like
Mm.
that thought process, like it's only for your low back and you should only be feeling in your low back. I remember deadlifting and like big fucking arch and like only putting pressure in your low back and like wondering why my low back hurt all the time instead of like thinking about it being a full body movement and like not affecting my lower back. And we talked about this shit before. Like there are movements, especially compound movements, where it is natural for you to feel your low back.
Yes.
Like you're providing tension and you have to provide support and your low back's gonna feel fatigued from lifting a certain way. It's natural. Like don't freak out. If it's pain, it's different than actual tension. Those are two different fucking things. But if you're training deadlifts only for your low back, you have a fucking issue. You're
For
training wrong.
sure.
You're fucking training wrong. Like I have constantly struggled in the beginning of my career, just like deadlifting and thinking like, oh, I'm gonna round my back. I'm gonna lift this motherfucker up and like round my back, put super big arch and shit like that, and like fucked up my back multiple times. I'm surprised I don't have a hernia right now. I don't have a hernia or a disc or like my spine isn't fucking broken because I was so stupid. But yeah, deadlifts are not for your back, and it's okay. And we talked about this before, but I'm not gonna sit here too long. It's okay to feel your low back in certain exercises. You need to use it. It's part of your body. And you can't just fucking separate your low back and put it to the wall and like never fucking feel it. You
Yeah.
know? So like it's natural, but listen to pain. Pain is not something you should be going through when you're lifting too. And that's like the supportive knee gear stuff. Like if it hurts you to fucking plate like one fucking leg press, like push like one fucking thing, that is not the right exercise for you. Not the right exercise for you.
Yeah, you need to scale back and
Yeah.
work on some other things,
Oh,
man. Like at
100%.
that point, this is your ego. I see people with knee wraps doing leg extensions.
Oh my God,
Leg
bro.
extensions.
Oh my God. Oh, that's
And
ridiculous.
if you're wearing knee wraps, you already know how hard it is to bend your knee with knee wraps on.
That,
And literally, not leg extensions is all knee flexion and knee extension.
yeah, you're that doesn't make any sense. Like you're just trying to what, like prevent more knee flexion or more knee extension
Well,
or
those are the guys that really go heavy on knee extensions.
which isn't
Like
like
I've seen, that used to be a thing for me too. Like you're putting on like 150 pounds and just cranking away at the leg extensions,
yeah.
throwing that shit. Like just the thought of that today feels like my knee's gonna explode.
Oh my God.
Like,
I
you should
remember that
never
my
be.
it
You shouldn't be
is
swinging around your leg extensions. You shouldn't be like that. Exercise is not meant to be heavy. Nobody in the world probably needs 200 pounds on a leg extension.
no, no. It is a lot of pressure, especially like going back down. I mean, there's people that break
Hell
their
yeah,
fucking knees
bro.
doing that shit. It's a lot of fucking knee flexion or knee flexion to go back down, and having that much weight, especially eccentrically, is fucking crazy. I
Oh,
remember.
I got some shit. Oh, now that we're here, two things. Stop jumping on the leg press. Just put weights on it. You don't
I
need.
mean, jumping on the leg press.
You ever saw with like the videos of people like jumping on the like someone's on the leg press to add themselves as weight?
Oh yeah. I used to do
You
that
know,
shit. Yeah. I used to do that shit.
we all used to
Yeah.
do it. We
Yeah.
did stupid shit when we was in the gym. That's why we can laugh at this. There's
Exactly.
no
Yeah.
need for us to be on a leg press, bro. Especially if
I forgot
there's
about
room for
that.
weights.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because we don't have leg presses at our gyms.
Nope.
Yeah, like, no, that's still a thing, man. People are getting on top of leg presses and making them push. Like, and the funny part is people will jump on a leg press and there's mad room for weights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, just put the fucking weights on the gym.
You're just a douchebag. I'm sorry. You're just doing douchebag things to like fucking think you're cool and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
you
used to
don't
do
need to
that.
jump on the sled either. Like the sled has enough room for plates to go. Like it's
Exactly.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't make you look badass. Stop sumo deadlifting the treadmill machines.
Oh my God. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah. It's yeah. You don't have to show out. Don't show out. Just get in there, get your work done, and leave. I think another one that was I didn't understand until like I grew out of it. It's like you don't need a max every fucking day. I think that took me the longest to like fucking get because like I didn't have like a powerlifter program like you. Like I was like following my boy and like we were always like every day would be like we bench max on Monday, we squat as heavy as we can on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever like that, and we
That
deadlift.
was me. I didn't get a powerlifting program to like my last two powerlifting meets actually.
Oh yeah, then we're
Yeah.
up.
I
Then we're
trained
both
very intuitively.
yeah. No, I did not train it very intuitively. I was competitive as fuck. I was like, no, I'm gonna lift more than you. And I was just like stupid.
Monday's max bench,
Monday,
Wednesday's max bench, Friday's max close grip bench.
yeah. Bench. And I still suck at bench. None of that helps me like at all. Like I'm garbage at bench. But yeah, just like lifting fucking super heavy. And it's also like interesting, like I remember like, and I remember this vividly of why this didn't work and what it clicked into my head was that going to the gym and doing the same thing over and over again, was helping me with my maxes because like I was a newbie. Like things are always
Yeah.
gonna be better if you're gonna be a newbie. But I was seeing the same guys come to the gym at the same time, all lifting the same weights for the same 2 years, and they were the same size, and I was like how are they not getting any bigger? But I am. But now my numbers aren't getting any better either. So like then it started bothering me. So like then I started figuring it out. It was watching other people not get any better and just doing the same shit over and over again that like confused the fuck out of me. So like that was the thing. I remember dude benching 225 every day and just like getting big, like thinking
Yep.
he was shit, but never going above 225 and doing the same rep scheme
Or
all
never go under.
or never go
That
under.
was
They
like,
start
yo.
there, or they start there. Like they start there.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're not even gonna warm up. Like Jesus. So that really opened my eyes to like see like how important it was to like actually have a successful program and follow something because then that's actually going to provide you the most success. If you first off, if you max every day, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah. It's a ticking time bomb.
This is literally ticking
The
time
young
bombs.
kids that they didn't get away with it, the teenagers, the shit. It's trust me, it's a ticking time bomb.
Exactly. Exactly. That was one. I think like nutrition, some nutrition stuff is also like I think nutrition one is like always the worst because like
Oh yeah,
well
like rice is bad for you.
yeah, like rice is bad for
You look
you.
at
Carbs
nothing but the
are
Asian
bad for
cultures and they eat nothing but rice.
you. Exactly. Yeah.
They're
I remember
perfectly healthy people.
yeah. I remember the leanest I've ever gotten was every day I would have chicken and broccoli, no carbs. And I was lean as fuck, but like I had no energy to do anything. But I was like, I look good. And I feel like people still do that where they just don't eat anything and whatever like that. And they because they look good, like it was like okay. But like their performance fucking sucked. Like
Of
I would
course.
be white. I would be white walking out of the gym. Like just because I was so depleted. So like calories are the calories are always king kind of thing. It's like you need your calories to train. Carbs are not a bad thing. Like shit like that is always bad. I think um dirty bulking stupid. That's also dirty bulking. Dirty bulking is the right way to bulk is stupid. I remember
Explain dirty bulking to the people who
dirty
don't know what
bulking
you're
is
talking
I
about.
fucking love dirty bulking. Dirty bulking is my favorite, but it's also very stupid. So dirty bulking is when you eat absolutely fucking everything, like
Everything.
like fucking
Yeah.
um donuts, like hoagie, like pizza all the fucking time. You eat everything to gain
Drinking
as
gallons of
many
milk.
yeah, gallons of milk. So I would do that. I would drink gallons of milk. I would have a mass gainer and I would have a peanut butter and jelly before I
Oh
went to
my
sleep. Yeah.
god,
So
dude.
I remember in college I did it because I just wanted to experiment. But oh man, it was so good because I ate so much fucking food. But anyway, I was
Your
like
ass
probably
had to be destroyed. Yo,
oh my god.
yo your
The
inside.
bathroom, just imagine the bathroom. And I was like in a dorm room. Just imagine the bathroom. So I remember this. I think I was I in college I was like maybe like 120 or 130 was probably like the heaviest I've been in college. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dirty bulk. I got up to 185. Fat,
Wow.
fat, thick. Not even two C's, just like with a K, regular K. Like I was fat. And I cut it all down just because I wanted to see. But yeah, dirty bulking is not the right way. There's a way to bulk that you don't have to gain excess amount of fat and then have to cut all that stuff down. Like obviously when you bulk and you add calories, you're gonna obviously gain a little bit of body fat. That's a natural thing. You're gaining you are in a caloric surplus. But if you go over like 2,000 to like 3,000 of your calorie intake and don't think you're gonna get fat, like oh my god.
And the quality of foods, man.
And the
Like
quality of foods is so bad. Like you're like it was hard walking upstairs, like things like that. Like don't do it. Like
stomach is hurting. Like that's
and
yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
something
was
I
like
wouldn't.
extended. Like I would eat to almost throw up, like shit like that. That's also one. Like to bulk and gain muscle, you have to like almost eat until you throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That
was that's advice
sounds
that I died. That's
how
advice that
bad.
I died. Yeah, you have to like eat to the point that you want to throw up.
Oh, someone told you that.
Somebody told me that.
Oh no,
That
fuck
was the
that.
advice I've gotten when I was trying to bulk, when I was trying to get some size. Like you have to eat until you can't, like you're about to throw up, and then like stop. And I was like, okay, because I didn't know any better, and I never was like 180 before, and I just did it, and I was like, that was a mistake, huge mistake. Like I was like, yeah, walking up and down stairs, walking to class, bro. Nah, man, I would never be that big again. Like 150 is like 150, 160 is like comfortable.
You
I'm
were
cool.
powerlifting at this time too, I'm assuming.
No, actually, I wasn't. So that was in college. College, I didn't powerlift until like I was in Syracuse, which was like 2 years after. So I was just doing it just to get as big as I could. Just because like I was always so here's how my body trajectory went. I was always a chubby kid. Then I lost a bunch of weight doing karate or doing Muay Thai. Then I started getting into lifting, but like I wasn't like gaining like a crap ton of size. So like during college, I was like, I'm gonna get as big as I could. So I got as big as I could while training and stuff like that, and cut it down. Then when I after college, I was also doing CrossFit stuff. Like I was doing whatever I wanted in
Mm.
college. But when I went to Syracuse, I followed the program, the first program I ever done, and that was powerlifting. Then that taught me structure. So I didn't understand any structure or anything like that until college or after
Oh
college.
shit.
Yeah. So then I started powerlifting and then I started understanding. I actually did gain a lot of weight and that was just because like I had a bunch of free food and I also had no time to eat or like I mean cook or anything. So I gained a lot of weight back in when I was powerlifting too. Cut it back down, cut it back up. So I've been up and down. This is probably like the most consistent way I've been since like college, like since like before college. But yeah, it's easy
Wow.
for me to gain weight, but it's hard for me to like stay consistent. But this is like the most consistent I've been because I actually have a consistent schedule, so that helps. But yeah,
All right,
imagine me
I got
180
one.
doing that.
Yeah,
Shit.
seriously. All right, I
All right,
got one.
all right.
Crunches will not make your stomach burn fat, and it also will not make your core strong.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. It only gives me neck pain. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you're giving. It's like you're
Uh,
giving reverse head. That's what you're. That's basically. It's true, man. Everybody be like turkey necking and gobbling, and basically that's what you look like you're doing. I'm sorry. Like don't do crunches with your mouth open either, because then it'll be.
Yeah, guys, like that's still a thing for people. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I need to get this core right, so I'm gonna do a bunch of high volume core flexion, easy exercises until it burns. Of
yeah,
course, it's gonna burn. You do anything for 100 reps, it's gonna burn. Like if
yeah,
I swing my arms around in a circle 100 times, my shoulders are gonna be on fire. Doesn't mean
yeah,
it's doing anything for me.
yeah. That's it.
You
That's a good
know.
one. Yeah. Yeah. That. I think. The only way to get abs is to do abs is also like what is it, like kind of the same thought process as you. That's what I heard. The only way to get six pack is to do abs. Then it became the only way to get a six pack is in the kitchen was also the thing. But the two things are wrong, but in the middle is the truth.
Yes. Yes.
So
I
so
agree
that's
with
the
that.
thing that you guys have to understand. Like I'm not saying abs. First off, I think ab circuits are stupid and they're not fun for me. But if you enjoy it, more power to you. Whatever gets you working out, but just understand you have to be at a certain body fat percentage to actually see your abs. So if you're working all this shit, like doing all this stuff, but not having the nutrition, you're never gonna see your abs.
Yeah.
But if you don't do enough, you don't need to do correct ab work, first of all, to get abs. There are
True.
people that just squat, bench, deadlift and get abs. But if you do want to do that and get a little bit more of a definition into your abs, then you do direct core work and then have the nutrition. Jesus Christ. And then have the nutrition. This is what happens when you talk with your hands. All right. Then do the nutrition. Then yeah, you're gonna see your abs.
I
But
knew people that had a really defined six pack whose core was weak as fuck.
oh yeah, yeah, gonna do shit.
So
Yeah.
that really does go to show that it is a body fat thing too. But that's not to say train. You want to train your core to be strong.
Yes.
So a lot of the core work that I give people is to develop strength there and learning how to brace. I do some lumbar flexion stuff, but it's usually on the harder scale of lumbar flexion. You won't really see me doing crunches with people. That's kind of
Yeah.
like non-existent in my training. It's just to me, it's
Mm,
just a little pointless. So
yeah.
I'd rather give you exercise that I know are just a little more bang for your buck, and I just kind of go to exercise that I know that are hard, that forces you to engage your core on a deep level and build strength that way. And then you mix that in with good nutrition, your abs will start to pop. So it goes both ways, like Evan said.
Yeah.
But
It goes both.
stop doing easy core work. Easy core work does nothing for you.
Nothing. And I think and it's like so in my program in Alpha, I put core work is more for them than it is for me. Like I think people need to understand that a lot of your core stuff is the bracing, but a lot of it's anti. So anti-extension, anti-rotation. That's what your abs are meant to do. They're not supposed flexion extension is they're supposed to move around, but like to get them stronger, you want to anti-extend, so like dead bugs or whatever like that. You want anti-rotate, stuff like that. So doing the opposite of what people usually do with the crunches is like what actually builds strength in your abs, like carries and shit like that, whatever. But going into the lumbar spine. So here's the thing, and this is like a new, old thought process, but a new learning process for me was the fact that I remember this, and we go by joint method all the time, and we talk
Yep.
about it here. Um, if you have low back pain, stretch out your low back and it'll relieve tension. But the problem is that your lumbar spine is it's a stable joint. So the more you stretch it out, the more likely you're gonna be weak and inefficient in relieving the tension in your low back because you're doing the wrong thing for it. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh, like my low back's always tight, so let me stretch it out. It's the same thing as the hamstring stuff. Like my hamstrings are tight, let me stretch it out. But yet, no matter how much you stretch out, it doesn't do anything. It's because like it's weak or because like the stretching out isn't doing the right job. Like you need to stabilize your low back
You
by
gotta
doing
decompress it too.
and decompress it too. That's also that's
That's
different.
big.
So that's different than that's different than stretching. And I think people need to understand that decompression is different than stretching. Like I'm not saying like do a couple like I mean cat cows or like whatever like that is normal, but like just understand that you'll always have low back pain if you continue to stretch it and don't strengthen your low back. That was
My
also
favorite thing to see was people like, my back is tight, and they would hyperextend themselves.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
That's what I'm saying. That's
I know
exactly
that's
what
exactly
they
what
did.
you're talking about right now. I'm
That's
like, well,
exactly what they
if
would do.
your back is tight, you literally just stretch your back in the position that made it tight in the first place, or
Eh,
that can make it tighter. You can't
exactly.
extend your spine already arches. So
Yeah,
if your back is tight, you're literally extending into it. And I'm
yeah.
like, that's not helping you. If anything, it's gonna make it tighter.
Exactly. So that was like a big that was like not eye-opening, but that was like a just a reminder. Like I needed the reminder to understand that like no matter how much low back stretching you do, like it's not gonna help anything out. Because I don't know why, like I just forgot it. So it was good for I had like a conference and the guy reminded me was like, keep stretching your low back and it ain't gonna do shit. But if you stabilize it, you do breathing techniques, you do resets, you
Yeah.
decompress, like those are the ways that you're gonna relieve tension in your low back. Because like no matter how many times you stretch, you ain't doing shit, and you're gonna keep complaining about it. Trust me. Yeah, that
That's
was
a
one.
good one.
Let's see. Trying to think about a nutrition one off the top of my head, man. I think
I brought
nutrition
up
is
I brought up
easily
the rice one.
Rob the Rice one's a good one. I think let's see. Another good one.
Well, the if remember when if it fits your macros first came out,
Oh yeah, you can eat whatever you want if you fit your macros. Yeah.
that
That
was a
was
crazy time.
that was such a crazy time. Everybody
Like
was into
people was I don't want to say first came out, but when I feel like when it really got popularized, it was just kind of like I'm gonna make up all my carbohydrates and Rice Krispie treats. It's like,
yeah,
hey,
exactly.
dude,
Like
like,
Pop Tarts. Pop Tarts got super popular.
oh,
People
Pop Tarts was like the
oh
thing.
Pop Tarts was a fucking thing, man. Um,
That was damn near like a pre-workout for people.
yeah.
That,
And
but
if
think about how crazy that is. People would do it like a pre-workout and a Pop Tart to go
yeah,
to the gym.
yeah, crazy.
That's
How much
wild.
sugar? Yeah, that's wild to me. How much
That's
sugar your body
wild.
have?
And
Yeah.
the sugar mixed in with like that the beta alanine and like oh my god, dude.
This doesn't have to do with nutrition, but I remember this was advice. And I never took the advice, but this was like something that one of my friends told me, and I love you to death, but like I'm not gonna say it, but this is what he told me. It's like I think you should go on steroids, but I'm not gonna let you go on steroids until you hit 405 on your deadlift. Like, you're not strong enough to start doing steroids. Like, but like once you hit that, like I'll let you do it. Like it was like I don't know why like he had to tell me that, but like I wasn't looking for steroids, but like he was like, yeah, like I don't we're not doing that yet. You're not strong enough. Which is first off, don't get into it, first of all. That's not I'm not saying get into it, but like that was just advice that a bodybuilder friend of mine gave me because like that's what he did. It was like, yeah, but like you're not strong enough to even start taking it. Okay, cool. I didn't want to take it anyway.
Yeah, the amount of people I found that was doing shit, and I
Oh
was
my
just
God.
like why, man?
Yeah, bro. It was so for bodybuilding, I think it's part of the sport now. Like obviously
It's always been a part of the sport.
it's always been a
I'm just
part of the
talking about
sport.
like regular day to
Regular
day.
old
Because
Joes
remember,
who
I went to a gym that was like powerlifting, bodybuilding heavy, and
yeah.
honestly, a lot of that shit would be going on in your LA Fitnesses.
Yeah.
A lot of that should be going because you got a lot of those bro guys that go in there, right?
Yeah.
But you would like really be surprised on some of the people that was like taking shit, like no background, no foundation, just kind of got into the gym 6 months ago and they want to get big and strong, and their
Yeah.
boy's been doing X, Y, and Z. So it's like I'm gonna start on SARMs, and then after I do SARMs, I'm gonna start jumping on to some of this higher stuff. And it's like if you actually just eat and train hard and consistently, you'll probably get all the results that you need for yourself. Like save the steroids for the professional athletes and the bodybuilders.
Yeah, especially that you don't know how to use it, and you could just definitely fuck up everything in your body, like your hormones and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's
for the
like
average person wanting to go to the gym and get in shape, you're perfectly fine.
exactly.
If you are of the top athletes, to be honest, they're using it. I don't care what y'all think. I'm just being
Yeah,
honest
yeah,
with you that it's going on, and it's been going on since the '80s. So whoever gets outed on it is just because they wanted to make an example. It's
yeah,
happening. Some of
yeah.
these ways that people are recovering from some of these injuries, the human body does not recover that
Yeah.
fast from some of this
Like,
shit.
I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers is like 40
Come on,
something
bro.
old, and the dude's like, I'm gonna come back from my fucking from my Achilles injury in like less than like 6 months. Fuck you. There's
You ever
no.
sprain your ankle and see how hard
Oh
it is
my
to come
god,
back
it
from
takes
that?
so long.
Like, come
It's so
on.
long. I don't care how much PT. I don't care how much PT or how much thing you do. There is no way that dude is like putting like sperm cells in his fucking like ankle every day to do that stuff. So just be aware. I think people forget there is a significant amount of people that you probably look up to on Instagram or like in the gym that are taking stuff and you don't know. So like stop mirroring yourself or stop comparing yourself to other people in general because like you never know what anybody's taking. And a lot of times, what people still misinterpret is that you automatically get big on steroids.
Yes.
Steroids only helps recovery. It doesn't like only help recovery. There's
Yeah, I
other
was about
things,
to say it doesn't
obviously.
only help
Yeah, it
recovery.
doesn't only help recovery, but it makes recovery faster so you can train more.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's
Definitely
not
increases the capacity of what you're able to do for sure.
exactly.
And you'd be surprised on like taking steroids is not just necessarily just the big muscular jack person. Like people that people that don't even look like they're taking steroids
Yeah.
can be taking steroids. I remember that was a thing. There was this guy, rest in peace to him, really strong guy in the powerlifting community. My numbers are crazy for my weight class when I competed. So it was definitely under the impression that I was using. I used to get that shit all the time. But I was like, nah, perfectly clean. And if I was using it, I wouldn't have mind telling people, but I was like, I just never saw the point in it for me and what I want for myself. So I just never went down that route.
Yeah.
So one of the guys always said, like, because he was one that openly used, but he was like, people would never assume that I use because I'm this bigger guy who looks this way. I'm strong, but like I'm expected to be strong the way that I look. And
Yeah.
someone like you who's like 160 pounds, deadlifting over 500 pounds for reps, like they're gonna look at you like, oh yeah, he's automatically using.
Yeah.
No, I was just really strong, and I just like knew how to train right and eat right to get to the point that I was at. Now, I will admit that for me to go to the level that I feel like I wanted to push into, the conversations in my head would be like, I think I would have to,
Yeah.
and I knew that was something I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? So I was like, for me to be 165 pounds and deadlifting 750 is like, I don't really
It is.
think that's going to be happening so much with a natural state, you know? So now, as I was getting more into my career, I was just like, for me to get to this next level in powerlifting, when I start looking like at the longevity part and really being at the top of the top of the top of the top, I was like, I don't think that's a route that I want to go for myself.
Yeah.
So that was another big reason of me actually kind of taking a pause there.
Okay. I like that. I can respect that. I think it's just acknowledging the fact that like you were like, all right, well, I know the next steps. I don't want to take that shit.
Yeah,
I
it
think
wasn't
people.
worth it for me. Like
Yeah.
it was like I was building my business. I wanted to grow in these areas that I was at, and it was just like this isn't gonna be worth the reward. And it's not like I wasn't even like marketing myself as like a powerlifting coach to kind of stay in that world, you
Yeah.
know. So like if all of that was my market, then maybe I would have just jumped in and said fuck it. But it
Yeah.
never was. So I was just like, like I'm cool on it at this point. I want to kind of live more into the thing that I'm attracting at this point. Cause like
Yeah.
there'll be some people coming to me for like, oh, you can help me with powerlifting, whatever, yada yada, and I'm like, I really don't like training powerlifters to be honest. It's something that I'll kind of do for myself. I can help people get strong as fuck, but my
Easy.
view on that is not necessarily like the powerlifting scope of it.
Hmm.
So I don't really like if people want powerlifting, I send them in people that like literally specifically focus on that type of work because that's like not where my work for the most part like exists in. But I can get anybody strong for like you want day to day shit and you just want to be a savage and that can work.
Yeah,
It's a different style.
for sure. I think, yeah, I think the last thing that I have off the top of my head is that the only way to get strong is to only do barbell squats,
Mm,
barbell bench, and barbell deadlift. Those are the
yes.
only way to become like strong. And I think I learned that super early because I mean those are the kings, right? So as I grew out of it, I was like, bro, like I can do more whatever trap bar deadlifting or whatever like that. It's safer for my back. It's something I don't need to do. Bench fucking hurts my elbow. Why the fuck am I gonna keep doing that? I can still get strong on dumbbell bench. Like I can front squat. I can do fucking Hatfield squats. I can do fucking safety bar squats and still get strong. You don't need. There is no specific exercise that you need to get strong. You just need the exercises that work for you that also don't provide pain but also provide progress.
Yeah. That
That's
was
all.
actually going to be one of the ones I brought up where people say like sumo deadlifting is cheating. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's also
guess you
one.
can make that
Yeah,
argument if you're a power lifter just because it shortens the range of motion, but
yeah,
see on the other end of it, right? When you start looking at some of the Olympic guys will say that sumo stand squatting stuff is cheating
yeah. True
because
too.
it's like, so it's funny, it's just like your perspective of it at the end of the day. So like I know when I started working at my internship, the guy that I was working with, he was really big on like high bar squatting, kind of being like the king more for overall leg strength squatting. He's like, there's purpose for the other ones and there's places for it, but he was like overall like that's the king of the kings because that forces the body to work in all of the segments that it needs to, the ankles, the knees. He was like, that's like your true test of squatting strength, being able to do it that way.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
can that. I can see that. I don't think I agree with that. I can see that because like I
yeah,
mean, it's because of already columns and everything being overplaced and like the mobility that you need to do it. I think people forget how powerful front squats can be.
yeah.
I think that's
He
also the
was a
thing. Like,
big front squatter too.
yeah, I think yeah, because at front squat you have to be in the upright position, so they're basically the same. But like the amount of core stability that you need to even hold it like in the front and you can't here's the thing, back squat you can cheat. People forget that you can cheat the back squat, you can lift it up and then you can arch it, you can do whatever you want. If you're you can There's a way to cheat it. There's almost no way to cheat a front squat because
You
like
can't even spot it either.
you can't even spot it because like you try to cheat a front squat, that bar's gonna fall.
Yep.
So that's why I think I always put, even though loading and mechanically wise, like back squat is like a harder movement, I always put front squat ahead because first off, it's a lot more technical in the sense of like having to put the bar in front and having to be able to hold it. But it's also like you can't cheat that shit. You see like people all the time like fucking cheat like back squats all the fucking time, like half range of motion or whatever like that, and like they stripper squat it. You stripper squat the front squat, that bar's falling.
Yeah.
So I this is my thought process with it.
This
I
could
always
lead us into another conversation
I
that
can
I
do
won't
is
jump
like
in now because we're gonna keep
yeah,
it
whole new
funny.
conversation,
Because
whole
then
new
that's
conversation.
gonna start going into that's the conversation we had with Marcus that one time that
I know,
when we
yeah.
had it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That old
We're
conversation.
we're gonna bring him on so we can do this
That
talk again now.
motherfucker. I saw him the other day trap bar one of his clients was like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah.
Those were big hitters. Uh,
Someone
I
for these
saw
trap bars now, buddy.
exactly right now. Uh, but yeah, there's more of the story. There's no one exercise or three exercises that you need to do to become strong. Like you just have to find the right exercises for you. Because I feel like, I mean, I think the king of all exercises, the king of lower body is rear foot. Honestly,
Rear foot split squat.
this is me. This is me. Like if you can be strong on one leg, you can be strong on two legs.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
it's one of those bang for bucks. Like it's gonna be easy to feel. Um, it's gonna get you strong as shit, and it's gonna get you balanced. Like it does cover a lot of stuff,
there's a lot of
and you
bases.
don't need a crazy load to make benefit. But if you can get it where you can handle a crazy load, that's really fucking good. Like
Monster
even
shit.
when I had split squattober finish not too long ago, and just seeing how, and that was just a 4 week program. Next year I'm gonna make it 6 weeks, maybe even
Mhm.
8. But
Yeah.
um, just seeing how much progress people moved and how natural they got in their squat afterwards. Like my girl ended up finishing with a 155 split squat for 3. Um,
Nice.
Kayla ended up finishing with 145 for three on a split squat. Like just looking, and I'm like, damn, this isn't even a double leg squat. Like this
Yeah,
is a split squat. These girls are
yeah,
135 and up for
yeah,
wasn't it? And I didn't do a 1 rep max. I did a 3 rep max.
yeah. Exactly. Just
But I just
imagine
think
that.
that was I thought that was gonna be safer for the population. I was doing it anyway, doing a three
I
rep
agree.
max. I was like 1 rep max isn't necessary. But now even just thinking, I'm like, that means they had the capacity to damn near do a 185 split squat.
Yeah.
That's
Here,
fucking crazy, yo.
fucking crazy. I
That's
love
fucking
that.
crazy,
That's
bro.
but here's the thing too, is like it I think the front squat, I mean not the front squat, I think the rear foot transfers easily to back squat and then back squat doesn't transfer easily to rear foot because you're on
No, it
one foot.
doesn't.
So like the stronger you get on one foot, the stronger you're gonna be able to squat and whatever like that. But
Yeah.
the last this was see you keep reminding me of shit. Last thing is that you also don't need to one rep max anything.
Yes.
There you go. That's also a good one. Like I forgot about that when you told me about the rear delt gentleman. Fucking just uh,
If there's one
but
thing you don't want to rep 1 rep
yeah,
max, it's
one rep max,
definitely
yeah.
your rear delts.
Yeah, don't rep never one rep max accessory movements, like it, only compound. That's one. Because like I've seen people tear fucking biceps like on Instagram because like they fucking want to do a one rep max curl, which is stupid. Don't do those. But also you don't need to one rep max all the time or ever, really.
Do
Like
you
I don't
look
know.
at the one? Do you look at the barbell curl as as an isolation movement?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
I don't know if I
I mean,
completely
like
agree
it
with
can
that.
be, it can and it can't not be, but like for me, like I think about it more as an aesthetically pleasing movement
For sure.
than like a actual like movement. So like I just do barbell curls because like you can get your biceps fucking strong by doing pull ups all day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like those gymnasts are fucking yoked, and all they do is fucking pull themselves up. So but yeah, you don't have to one rep max anything. I don't think, especially like the level of if you're not powerlifting, first of all, you don't. Safe, I agree with you. I like threes.
I like
Fives
three.
are a little too much for me. People who do fives, that's a little too much. But I think those are safer bets all the time.
Five had the place, I guess, where you're kind of looking at that sub
Exactly.
maximal effort.
Yeah.
But for like the average person, 2 to 3 rep max, I think it's fine just as a way to go heavy and to be healthy.
Yeah.
I do think there's place for 1 rep maxing, but I think you should save that for a very specific trained individual.
Yes. Yes.
And even that should be kind of limits on how you do that.
I think the level of experience that you need to actually be able to do a true one rep max is like is more insane than people think. Because like they'll
Hell yeah, it
see,
is.
yeah, I think people don't understand. Like they'll one rep max like fucking preteens and teenagers. I'm like, dude, like they don't even have the capacity to understand where their fucking feet are. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell them to load up the bar to do one rep and then expect the one rep to be perfect. Like you load it up a little bit less, you do 3 to 5. Like kids, like I'm cool with fives because like they need the volume and they need to understand biomechanically where they need to be. But like
yeah.
if you like adults, three is perfect because like they understand, they have an understanding of their body by now. And like one rep, like if you have like a serious athlete, like I'm cool with that. But I don't run one rep right now. I don't one rep anybody, honestly. I
I can't remember the last time I 1 rep somebody, to be honest.
don't think I've done
That
it.
was a thing of me more earlier in my fitness as a like coaching career. But I also think that was a place that I was in too.
Yeah,
But like as you kind of get older, you do realize like your 1 rep max really isn't that important
no,
like you think it is.
yeah,
I just think like just being strong as fuck and just having the ability to do certain things is just important.
yeah. I
It's
think
really
repeat.
like an ego stroke with shit like that. Like I,
Yeah,
especially now with a lot of the work that I'm doing, I got people swinging around big ass bells and sandbags and shit like that. Like we're not thinking about 1 rep maxes, bro. Like throwing a 250-pound sandbag over our back. Like
so no, you don't need that shit. I think repeated effort and work capacity has a bigger plate. Work three things: strength, work capacity, and repeated effort with the work capacity and the strength, or is repeated effort the same thing as work capacity? Are
yeah,
three of
yeah,
the biggest things that I focus on with clientele and just in general. Because if you're that way instead of like pure power and pure strength, I mean, you almost never need that, but it's also good to have. That
yeah.
makes sense.
And the ability to do things one time is great, but some max effort and like repeatability. And honestly, we're speaking from a population of what we work with, and just like what people say that when they want to be generally in shape and strong, like this is really what people mean.
Yeah.
This is really what people mean.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fun episode, man.
That was a good one.
If you didn't walk out with anything, you should never um max out on your rear delts.
Yeah, never
Walk
max
away
out your rear
quick.
delts. Never fucking max out your rear delts. Oh, last one. Cardio doesn't help you lose fat. Okay, cool. I'm done.
And cardio doesn't affect your strength gains.
Yes, that's also a good one.
Unless you're literally just running a marathon, if you go out and run a mile, 2 to 3 miles, you'll be perfectly fine, guys. You're not gonna get weaker from that.
Exactly. Yeah, we forgot about that one. That was a good one. That was an easy solve. We don't need to get deep into that one.
But yeah, cardio or jogging and running and stuff like that doesn't ensure that you're gonna have a shit ton of fat loss.
Mhm.
Still a
Yeah.
calorie in, calorie out thing. And
Oh,
it just kind of goes into what your whole formula is, right? I think you should have a formula of fat loss. We've been through this. Listen to one of the older episodes. We
yeah.
spoke about it.
Been there, done
But it's
that.
still funny to hear because people
Yeah,
still think that, and people still think that doing 1,000 crunches are gonna get them abs. So
exactly. We're doing tens of thousands of miles is gonna help them lose the fat. It's not. It's not. Sorry. Sorry. No.
you got any closing words for the people, Evan?
Nah, man. I think that's about it. Again, like we've been doing this for 6-ish months now, and we just appreciate everybody listening. Like again, this was just a thought, and the thought became a reality, and then all of a sudden, like we're fucking taking this seriously, all that stuff. Also, before we forget, there's a website up, so you can follow us, like learn a little
Yo,
bit about us. All of our content is up there with all the links that you need. So I mean, just save it on your taskbar. We drop everything new, and it's also on there instead of having to go to YouTube if you guys don't want to go through YouTube.
buildingsavagespodcast.com.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes,
is
sir.
it. Look it up. So we'll start plugging that in the beginning of the episodes too. So thank you for reminding us about that.
I got you.
All right, man. Thank you guys for another listen, wherever you're listening from, whether it's Mars, Germany, US, your iPhone, your laptop, YouTube, Spotify, all of that. Thank you
Yep.
guys for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Set your notification bells for future content to come because we're going to keep delivering week after week.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes, yes, sir.
All right,
Appreciate
guys. We'll see you next week.
it.